which some people find nothing happened. Detective Lugo
It's the
actually
next
got Michael
day.
a second interview,
Let's have a
which
joint.
also got nowhere and didn't lead to any more leads. And then his sister Abby accused the police of harassing her family. Eventually, the Broadduses hired Lee Levitt, a lawyer who actually met with several members of the Langford family, as well as their attorney, to show them the letters, along with photos showing how their home was one of the few places where that easel could have been seen. Essentially sitting down with them and saying, hey, here's what's in the letters, and hey, your house kind of lines up to where the easel was, so perhaps the easel was spotted from in your home. The meeting grew tense, and the family continued Michael's and their innocence. Which, on the contrary as well, imagine how frustrating it would be if you were not sending these letters and you were constantly being accused of having noticed the easel and having sent these letters and you weren't. Like, this whole entire case is frustrating for every single person involved, especially those innocent who are being dragged into this case as well. Here's where things get a little more interesting, guys. DNA was later found on the letter, and it was deemed a woman's DNA. So now, a whole turn in the thing was that these letters were perhaps being written by a woman. It was a woman's DNA found on the letter. So then they thought that Abby Langford, his sister, was the one who was sending the letters rather than Michael. But there was no match to Abby, causing detectives to rule out the Langfords as suspects, as I mentioned earlier in the video. So it was made pretty clear that it was not Michael and it was not Abby, leaving their neighboring family completely innocent after having been harassed, because it is harassment if you haven't done anything and you're continuously labeled as a suspect. But what's frustrating about cases like this is there's no real leads and a family feels as though they are in grave danger. So the police are going to do all that they can do to try to solve it, and they hope that those who are innocent will cooperate to prove their innocence, you know? Either way, this whole entire case has baffled me. What's even crazier is that it's a pretty recent case, as I'm sure you guys can tell. So nobody knows who in the world the water.
What else should I watch, dude?
Hi, I'm Johnny, and for me, lockdown's been pretty messed up. It hasn't really brought my family together in the way you might have expected. I mean, Mom's been constantly nagging, and Dad keeps trying to lecture me about the good old days. Thankfully, my older sister Belle is pretty chill and hasn't been too down about losing her waitressing job. She spends all day in her room doing whatever girls do. Probably watching stupid makeup tutorials and shopping up a storm online if the mountain of packages that keep arriving for her aren't anything to go by. I don't know how she affords it. Anyway, I'm not much of a gamer and books are for simps. So I'd usually just be on my laptop checking out random sites on the internet. Incognito, of course, if you know what I mean. That was up until last week, when I went to one of my favorite sites and realized I had had enough of all the stepsister stuff. I wanted something more, something real. So that night, after my sister's light went out, I snuck down the hall to her bedroom. I stood outside, listening for her snoring, then quietly pushed open her door and tiptoed over to her bed. I bent down and grabbed her handbag off the bedside table. I quickly pulled out her purse and snapped a photo of her credit card, praying that the flash from my phone wouldn't wake her. Then I put her bag back and quietly crept out, closing the door behind me. After that, the next day when boredom overcame me, I started browsing live campsites. You know, the ones where you donate to the actresses as they entertain you? Well, yeah, I stumbled across a girl standing in front of a backdrop that looked like a picture of a hospital room. The only light was a glow from a small lamp off to the side somewhere. She didn't look much older than me, but it was hard to tell. She wore a face mask, but it was the tiny nurse's uniform clinging to an amazing body that got my attention. Man, was she hot. I quickly whipped out the photo of my sister's credit card and entered the details online, figuring I'd just pay her back if she ever found out, since I didn't have my own. Then I hit join and watched as the nurse began to shimmy provocatively. Now this was more like it. A pop-up appeared with another feed. I clicked continue and leaned forward to watch as she reached up and removed her nurse's cap, shaking out long, light pink hair. I knew it was a wig, but I hit continue again and again as she danced and undressed, piece by piece in front of the camera. The price and my excitement escalated pretty quickly. Finally, only the mask was left. I hit continue and prayed all the credit card charges were going to be worth it. I watched with bated breath as she reached up and gently freed the elastic from behind her ears, then slowly lifted the mask up to reveal her face. What the hell? It was Belle, my sister! I slammed the laptop lid down. A cold sweat formed on my forehead as a sudden wave of nausea rolled over me. I must have heaved like 4 or 5 times. Suddenly, it all made sense. The money, the packages, props. Belle had found a way to work from home. My sister seems completely oblivious to the fact that I was one of her clients, but I'm struggling to even look her in the eye while those images are burned into my brain. Do you think I should tell her? What if she notices the credit card transactions? What would you do if you were me? Let me know in the comments
fuck
below.
off.
I'm Will, and I was raised in a family of supermodel girls. Before we between us. Now get out!
Shit.
So I have 6 sisters, and they're all supermodels. My mom also used to be one when she was younger, and I'm the only one in my family who hasn't really gotten into the family business. Let's just say I'm the ugly duckling in a family of swans. My sisters were always booked for jobs. They'd fly to Milan, Paris, London, Tokyo, multiple times in a year. And they were paid a lot of money. They were kind of the superheroes of our town. Everybody knew their names, and whenever we all went out together, the guys would drool over them, and the girls would wrinkle their faces at them in envy. And boy, did they get a lot of free stuff. Not just from the designers they worked for, or the guys who always wanted their attention, but from everyone in town. If my sister so much as looked at a shop window, the shop owners would beg them to come in and take whatever they wanted. Clothes shops would send them an entire collection of dresses. Restaurants would send us so much food we barely ever had to go grocery shopping. And everywhere we went, boys would plead, "Be my girlfriend!" or "Marry me!" as they offered boxes upon boxes of gifts. Their popularity also trickled down to me. Not only were my sisters popular at school, everyone also flocked to me just so they could get to them. At first it was weird, because I knew they were just using me to get close to my sisters. But I enjoyed the attention too. I'd make people pay for my sisters' autographs, and if they wanted to spend time with me, I would ask for something I really wanted in return. Like a new phone, or a copy of a game I've always wanted to buy. There was a lot of girls who approached me. A lot. What foundation does Jolene wear? Where does she buy her lipstick? They would ask me. Of course, I had no idea, but I made up whatever answer I could so they'd always come back for more. I actually had my first girlfriend thanks to my sisters. But as soon as my sister found out I was dating someone, they immediately confronted her and told her to stay away from me. I get that they probably feel protective of me, but not wanting me to date anyone at all? I was probably the favorite of the family because I was me above all of them. But that overprotectiveness did have its downsides. I was kind of looking forward to going to college and finally being free of my sisters and their ever watchful eyes. I just wanted to live my own life and finally start dating again. With the money I'd saved from selling their autographs and giving tips to guys on how to make my sisters notice them, I saved up enough for a massive apartment near my university. But as soon as I moved into my apartment, I found them at my doorstep. Please, we need to come stay with you. What?
They
I
have
just
a
got out
crush
of living
on
with you guys
you.
all the time.
Don't,
Please, Will, we're so broke. We don't have any money left. Have to
don't you
help us,
know
Will.
that?
We
All of
got
them have a
fired.
crush on
Now
you,
we
you
have nowhere
stupid
left to
fuck.
go. Please, can we stay? Why don't you live
So
with Mom?
rip
At
your
home,
fucking
like
dick
you
out.
used to.
Let them suck it.
She kicked us out. Said we were irresponsible and that we needed to learn a lesson. What could I do? As annoying as they were my sisters. And if Mom did throw them out, they'd probably end up
Sell items like me on eBay to make bags of cash.
Huh.
end up in the streets. If I knew them at all, I know that they had no ability to fend for themselves. They always rely on what other people give them after all. It turned out they got fired for partying too much and missing a lot of work. All that money they earned was all gone. Apparently, they spent it all on partying and renting yachts all the time. And because they always brought their friends who also worked in the same agency, they got fired too. And you guessed that right, they also ended up living with me. I don't know why, but whenever I asked, my sisters would just look at me with sad eyes and plead that I let them stay. Luckily, I still had a bunch of money saved up, so I was able to get them all bunk beds. My apartment was huge. There was no way I was going to have enough room for 12 girls. One day, as I was sitting in one of my classes, wondering how to solve my sister's problems while also finding a way to have my apartment to myself again, I had a brilliant idea. I was a great salesman, and I was pretty good at spotting ideas that could make money. I had 12 former supermodels at my house. What if I get them back to working again? That week, I registered my first company. I started my own modeling agency. When I told my sisters and their friends about it, they were over the moon. They were so happy that they all began to kiss me. Don't get too excited. It's just an idea for now. I still have to build the company. You're a genius, Will. This will be so awesome. And don't you
Pardon
worry.
me.
We'll help you however we can. And they did. As I built my company from the ground up, my sisters and their girlfriends went to
Oh
work.
shit.
The other friends they had who were still working at their old modeling agency, they could join us instead. And they brought with them all the clients who loved having them as models before. With one stroke, I had models and the brands to make my agency legitimate. We were an overnight success. We were booking photo shoots and runways left, right, and center. I imposed a curfew on all the models to make sure they didn't spend too much time partying and squandering their hard-earned money like they did before. How do I know they're following the rules and curfews? Well, they still live with me. I know I started the idea of having them work again as a way to get them out of my hair, but I actually began to feel attached to my sisters than the others.
I guess let's head to my cabin. Head to bed. Wake up in the morning. Go look for an oval. This place has to have an oval, right? Well, come on, there's no way this place have not got an oval. 7 in the morning. Come on, there is no way this place have not got an oval, dude. Like, come on. There's no way this place doesn't have an oval. Let's look around the place. I'm not gonna teleport just in case if I miss some stuff. I'm gonna walk around all over the facility. That way is to that chick's place, that chick's cabin. What's this here? Pardon me? Oh, they do have an oval. Basketball court. Under here, chill area, courtyard, soccer field, fountain, chill area again. Let me guess. This is the maze. Okay, and that's the exit, I guess. Nice. Yeah, let's chill here, dude. Press play.
Models. Somehow, I felt responsible for them. I even began falling for one of my sister's friends. This time, I kept it a secret. I didn't want to risk having my sisters find out. I was afraid they would put a stop to it again. I also taught them how to do chores around the house. That way, they would learn how to have a work ethic. I made them my servants so that they would learn how to be humble. They cooked and they cleaned. Every time I caught them slacking, I would confiscate their phones and change the Wi-Fi password. And whoever would do a great job with their chores would earn a trip to the spa. That seemed to really work. In no time, my company became very well known. We went from this small startup agency to becoming the most in-demand modeling agency in the country. And it was all thanks to my models' hard work. They were booking events like never before. And to thank them for all their hard work and for learning all the discipline I taught them well, I planned a camping trip for the whole company. And that was when everything broke loose. I had arranged for me to be staying in the same tent as my girlfriend. I wanted us to spend time alone from everyone else. But that was my mistake. Because as soon as I was about to kiss her inside the tent, I heard my sister's voices as they came up to our tent. Why do you get to share a tent by yourselves? Open up, Will. It's not fair. Then, without further warning, the tent flap flew open. My sisters all gasped when they saw me and Carrie all tangled up in a deep kiss. They immediately pulled her off of me and pushed her out of the way. What are you doing to our brother? They
Crap.
slapped her and called her names, and they banished her from there. We thought you were our friend. How dare you kiss our brother? Don't ever talk to us again. We can fire her, right? Will, you have to fire her. I'm not firing my girlfriend. My sisters gasped in unison again. Girlfriend? Girls, it's even worse than we thought. How long has this been going on? Seriously, behind our backs? She's not even that pretty. Oh, she is so fired. I had enough of them humiliating Carrie. No one's getting fired. You will all lay off of Carrie. She's my girlfriend, and if you have something against that, you can say goodbye to going to Paris Fashion Week. All of you. That shut them up. Then something even worse happened. Whatever, you can call her girlfriend or whatever you want. But she's not spending another second in here alone with our brother. She can sleep in the woods for all I care. We're staying here to guard you. One by one, all 6 of my sisters climbed into my tent and squeezed themselves against each other just so they would fit. They pushed against me and my stuff until the tent eventually almost rolled over on its side. They wouldn't stop moving around that I had to scream to get their attention. Enough! You're all being really annoying. There's no way we'll all fit in here. Now you all go back to your tents or I'm calling this whole trip off. You don't have to worry about Carrie because with all that you've done, you've probably ruined everything between us. Now get out! I've never yelled at them before. And That was probably why they all looked so shocked as they left me there. That night, I had so much to think about that I couldn't sleep. And then, just after midnight, I heard noises outside my tent. I froze. Was it a bear? Was it Carrie? I grabbed a thick book in an attempt to defend myself. When the tent flapped open suddenly, I screamed in fear.
Okay. Next.
For as long as I can remember, my dad has always been obsessed with finding the right girl. And by finding the right girl, he wanted to also build the perfect family. Hi, I'm Aaron, and I'm here to tell you the story of how I ended up getting a new family every morning. Before I tell you the rest of my story, don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell icon to show your support for me. I don't even remember who or what happened to my mom. Dad never talked about her either. But every morning when I wake up, I'd be greeted by a different family. Usually my new stepmoms would have kids of their own, but more often than not, none of them ever lasted more than 24 hours. Dad never ran out of applicants. He was rich and famous. Everyone wanted to be his wife. And every kid wanted to be his kid. I was the only one who actually was. One day when I was around 10, I got a stepmom who, as soon as she met me and served me breakfast, told me she was a gold digger. She wasn't shy about it or tried to hide it at all. You know, Aaron, I'm gonna tell you something. Don't expect me to act like your mom, okay? I don't want to be your mom. Honestly, I'm just here for your dad's money. And if you can make my time here easier, I promise we'll have the best time. And she meant it. I don't know why, but maybe because I just wanted to have a stepmom who stayed longer than the others. So I agreed to what she wanted. If she was going to be a fun mom, then I was going to help her stick around. Gold Digger Mom drove me to school, but never dropped me off. Instead, she drove us to the nearest theme park where she took me on every ride, even the dangerous ones. I had so much fun. We went on roller coasters, the Gravitron. She even won me a bunch of stuff on the arcades. And after our fourth time on the ride, the park simply called Murder Mountain, Gold Digger Mom finally took me aside and said, "It's Mommy's turn to have a good time, yes?" I nodded. Gold Digger Mom had my dad's credit card with her. She took me to the mall where she bought herself clothes from every store, and then she bought laptops, phones, and cameras. After all that, we hit the jewelry stores. She bought diamond necklaces and sapphire rings, ruby earrings, and platinum bracelets. As if she would never run out of energy, we then went to the shoe shops. She must have gotten herself 100 pairs. By late afternoon, she finally ran out of steam. And so, to relax, she took me to a spa where we got foot massages, and a lady smeared mud all over my face. I found that extremely weird. By then, we were already late for getting home. My dad was wondering if Gold Digger Mom had forgotten to pick me up at school, and so he called. Gold Digger Mom panicked. She surely didn't want Dad to suspect anything, and so she told him that she just took me out to the museum. And to make me lie for her, she bought me a bunch of games and even a brand new PC. All charged to my dad's card, of course. I mean, she was totally leeching off Dad. But to me, she was awesome. Sure, she bought herself a lot of stuff, but she spoiled me too. She even snuck me a bowl of ice cream after dinner when I was already in bed. And then she said, "Don't breathe a word of our adventures to your dad, okay?" I nodded. Of course I wish she'd stay forever. And then she kissed me on the forehead and said goodnight. But the next morning, she was gone. Dad had found out. I barely had time to cry about Gold Digger Mom being gone when the next stepmom arrived. And the cycle went on until when I was 16, the weirdest of my stepmoms yet arrived. She was obsessed with looking and acting young, and her girlfriends, who she brought with her to stay at our house, were exactly the same. All they did all day was talk about anti-aging creams and Botox and surgery. They came on a Saturday, and so I was stuck with them at home. Dad was called away on business, so I had nothing to do except entertain and get to know my new stepmom and her friends. I wanted to disappear and play my games in my rooms, but they kept following me. They all sat on my bed and tried to get me to hang out with them. They asked me about girls and how it was being a teenager. "Hey, Aaron, do you think we look young for our age?" It wasn't giggled and patted each other's backs. Hey, Aaron, you know what? Why don't we go and hang out at the mall like you teenagers do? Do you think some kids would hit on us? I don't know. Kids don't really hang out at malls anymore. What? Then what do they do? TikTok? And that's how we spent all morning and afternoon, just taking cringe videos and uploading them. I, of course, was their cameraman, and it was honestly brutally awkward. But hey, it made them happy, somehow, so I let them do what they wanted. I taught them how to edit clips, and by the end of the day, they had at least 50 TikToks on each of their new accounts. At that point, I guess I was just desperate for some sort of permanence, so I just wanted every stepmom to work out for my dad. I did everything I could to help them. But by morning, youth-obsessed mom and her girlfriends were nowhere to be seen. When I turned 21, I was lucky enough to get a girlfriend. I went to college with her, and when she found out that I got a new stepmom every day...
Let's head back to the crib, I guess. To my room. Just another day in the facility. Let's teleport to my room. $7 AM. Just another day at the mental camp. Where's the oval down here? Was the oval down here, or where was it? Yeah, the area is down here. So let's press play.
She found to be both fascinating and a bit creepy. One day, while she was staying over at my place, she met one of my newest stepmoms, and it was a shock for her. The girl looked younger than she was. Excuse me. Lisa, was it? But, are you sure you're old enough to get married? Yeah, duh. I'm like 18 and all. My girlfriend turned to me. You know I love you, right? Yeah? But, this is too weird. Are you really gonna have a stepmom who's younger than me? I know it's weird, but that's just my dad. I can't change him. Believe me, I tried. And then, my new stepmom suddenly interrupted our conversation. I mean, you're only a few years older than me, Aaron. I'm thinking, if it doesn't work out between your dad and I, you and me could, you know. Ew, gross. My girlfriend pushed my new stepmom and then turned to me. Are you really gonna... Gonna let her say all that in front of me? I, of course, did not know how to respond. I was never a big fan of confrontation, so I stumbled on my words. And when I couldn't get an instant answer, my girlfriend slapped me on the face and left. She texted me that we were over. My new stepmom didn't leave my room. No matter how much I told her she was being weird, she wouldn't leave me alone. She kept hugging me and... She even tried to kiss me. You just look like your dad when he was younger. You know, I wouldn't mind marrying you, too. What are you talking about? Please, if Dad finds out what you've been saying, he'll send you away, too. I don't care, as long as you become my new boyfriend. That's never gonna happen. But you're single
I
now,
would.
aren't
I wouldn't
you?
run that.
Yeah, thanks to you. So leave me alone. Just then, my dad walked in. He saw a young stepmom hugging me. I froze. I thought for sure he'd fly into rage. Instead, my dad smiled. Ah, how sweet. You guys are getting along so well already. I'm glad you're being affectionate with Aaron. I've always thought he needed more mothering. Young stepmom behaved differently around Dad. She was always so nice and obedient and angelic. But the moment Dad was away, she'd come after me. She was always trying to get me to kiss her. But miracles of miracles, young stepmom was not gone by the second day. Nor was she gone by the third. She was with us for about 7 days. During those days, she took care of
See?
Dad and made him
Might
laugh. And acted
well.
like she was madly in love with him.
None that bit.
But whenever he wasn't looking, she tried to hold my hand or kiss me. She even snuck into my room once. I woke up with her face in front of mine and I screamed. When my dad came running, young stepmom pretended like she was just there to wake me up for school, and that I was having a nightmare. I couldn't tell my dad the truth, of course. It was the first time ever that someone was able to stay my stepmom for that long. And even I wanted it to work out for my dad. Unfortunately, that weekend, my dad found something out about young stepmom. Get out! Get out of my house right now! What? Just because I'm your niece? You're kicking me out? Yes! I can't marry my own sister's daughter! Are you crazy? You're crazy! My mom was totally right about you when she told me why you kicked her out of the house. You think you're so high and mighty? Can't even send us some money. You didn't earn a cent of it. Your whole family. You're all just a bunch of swindlers. My dad shut the door on young stepmom's face. Turned out, Dad had a sister who also tried to trick him into marrying her the moment he got rich. So, Dad banished her from his life and took out a restraining order against her. He didn't recognize young stepmom was his niece because he never even knew his sister had a baby. I thought that was the weirdest one of my stepmoms yet, but I was not prepared for the next ones.
When you go to Griffith University, it's about more than making it. It's about making it.
Hi, my name is Theo, and I am 20 years old. I'm going to tell you about how my life changed within a night because of one decision of my dad, and how I've been bearing the consequences of his decision ever since. I would like to give you a bit of backstory first. There was a girl in my college named Yuri. She was like the most popular girl, and was chased by almost all the guys of the campus. But despite all that, she was really good-natured and humble. Now, I am not the one for stereotypes, but Yuri really was different from what I had imagined her to be. I gathered enough courage and messaged her on Instagram. To my surprise, she immediately replied. We got to know each other within the next few days and started hanging out in real life too. And then, fast forward a few weeks, we started dating. We had like the most perfect relationship ever. Or so I thought, until I found out Yuri's truth. She was, after all, not as flawless as I had made her out to be. I had many friends who were girls, and apparently for Yuri, this was problematic. If you're going out with me, then you have to stop talking to those girls, she used to say. It makes me feel insecure. I tried to explain to her multiple times that she had no reason to be insecure, and those girls were nothing more than friends, but it was all in vain. I reached the end of my patience when she yelled at one of my friends when I was not present and asked her to never contact me again. This was beyond ridiculous and unacceptable. I had no other option but to break up with Yuri after that. She was not ready to listen to reason or understand, and I couldn't stand such a relationship anymore. Anyway, that was that. The whole incident was quite heartbreaking for sure, but I moved on. And I thought that things were starting to get normal when I started having feelings for this other girl in the college. Her name was Alexis, and we met at I developed a huge crush on her within a couple of days of knowing her. Amidst all this, my dad told me that he was going to remarry. My mom had left us a few years ago and was now settled in a different state with her own family. she hadn't bothered contacting us, and I kind of understood what Dad felt. I was happy that he had found love again, and would no longer be lonely. But imagine my surprise when I found out that my stepmother had 2 daughters, and I knew her daughters beforehand. It gets even better. One was my ex, and the other was my crush. Surprise is a very mild word to describe what I was feeling. I went to meet her, feeling really nervous for some reason. So, she started jokingly. You're going to be step-siblings, huh? What a bummer. I looked at her in shock. Was she affected by this too? I really liked spending time with you, Theo, she continued, when she saw the confusion on my face. And
let's head back to the place, like my crib, like, you know what I mean, my cabin for the demons and devils. I think the devil, the son of the devil, stay down bottom, and then the demons are up top on the second floor on the dorms. I'll show you, look. I'll show you what I mean. This is my place, right? And my guess is this is for the devil's sons, and this is for the sons of the demons. Like son of Zozo, son of Balthazar. You know what I mean, and this is the son of the devils. Let's head to bed. It's another day at the facility. There we are. Let's chill. Let's chill here.
was hoping that something more could happen between us, but then this news was dropped on us. I sighed. To be honest, I like you a lot, and I was hoping for something more too. Alexis nodded in understanding. It's not the end of the world, though. We can still make things work out, you know? It was easy to understand the implication of her words, but I wasn't too sure if it would be right to have a relationship after becoming step-siblings. That's why I didn't say anything. There was a problem of Yuri, too. She was unaware about the whole Alexis thing. I was pretty sure she wouldn't like it very much if I started dating her sister. Anyway, the day finally arrived. Dad got married, and we moved into my stepmother's home because it was bigger and much better. Did I ever mention that she was really rich and had inherited a lot of money and property from her parents? It was like a whole new world for me to start living in a mansion-like house. And on top of everything, my dad and stepmother left for a month-long vacation soon after getting married. Do you know what that meant for me?
No.
Getting stuck in the home with my ex and my...
Not in those two bitches.
and my crush were now my stepsisters. As I said, life couldn't get any better than this.
Yeah, could for
No
me.
sarcasm, please. The summer break had also started just then, so no classes for 1 month. And it wasn't like I had anywhere else to go. My dad had given us strict instructions to not get out of the house unless absolutely necessary. My stepmom had enough servants to bring us anything from the market and take care of our day-to-day needs. I had a hunch that this 1 month was going to be very disastrous. But to what extent? I had yet to find out. I woke up in the morning to loud knocks on my bedroom door. I opened the door to find Yuri standing in front of me with a tray of breakfast. My eyes widened. What is this? She gave me a smile. I woke up early in the morning to make breakfast for you. These are all your favorites. Thanks, but you didn't have to do this, Yuri, I said, feeling uncomfortable for some reason. Why not? We are family now. I would like to take care of you, she replied. I was about to open my mouth to say something when Alexis appeared in front of us. He was right, Yuri, she said with a frown.
Press poison, I guess. Head to my room. Head to my, dorm in the camp. It's 7 AM. Let's get out this here. Then let's go here. Then let's go to the oval. Then let's go to the oval. There it is. There is the oval here. Let's chill in. No. This way. Okay, another court area. Another chill area, nice. Okay, there's the maze, there's a chill area. Let's chill here, I guess.